Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another vid. Alright, so Vasyl Lomachenko is scheduled to fight Miguel Mariaga to defend his WBO lightweight title, which will be his third defense, and that is scheduled for August 5th at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. That would be one of the first headlining one of the first main event cards for ESPN, which Top Rank has signed a new deal with the new TV network. They pretty much have gotten away from HBO. And very interesting fight. It is a fight. So let's see what the outcome is, which we should all expect what the outcome is going to be, given the fact that Mariaga is coming off a loss, and he's getting a title shot coming off a loss. And most of you who've listened to me for a long while now, and they know you guys know my stance on this situation, know my position on this. I am not a fan of a fighter getting a title shot coming off a loss. I don't care who it is, okay? Now, if the fighter is coming off a loss and he's fighting a champion in a non-sanctioned fight then I have no problem with that. What I mean by non-sanctioned, I mean not for the title, okay? Of course, I want the fight to be sanctioned, but not for the title. Okay, fine. That's a different story. I have no problem with that. But the problem is this. Two things. One, what happened to the Orlando Salido rematch that was slated to be signed? I'm sorry, that was slated to be signed. What happened to the Guillermo Rigondeaux situation? I thought there was some rumor about negotiations about to go on with that. But let me get into that, okay? Now, Orlando Salido rejected the rematch offer that was presented to him, okay? He was offered $729,000, which is confirmed by a spokesman of Top Rank or Lomachenko's team, I believe, so forth. Now, apparently now, due to the fact that Salido had backed out of the negotiation process with Lomachenko, he's now more likely going to fight Gervonta Davis for the IBF title. Now, perhaps he's getting a little bit more for that fight, and now he's also fighting for a title in that situation. Okay? So, now, did Orlando Salido price himself out? Yes, he did. Absolutely. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Now, the problem with this situation is that doesn't give Lomachenko off the hook on this, because one, okay, fine. You have Salido backing out of the negotiations by pricing himself out, but yet you're taking on a guy who's coming off a loss, a guy who's not even considered an elite fighter for one. Okay, now Salido, to all fairness, Salido is not. Well, he is an elite fighter to some degree. Yes, he's way past his best, but this is a guy who gave you your first loss. Yes, by hook or crook, but he gave you your first loss. And the fact that this is a black cloud that's still hanging over in your short part of your career so far, you still have to find a way to avenge that loss. You're going to have to fight this guy. Okay? So this is not going to go away, man. People are going to continue to harass you until you take the rematch with this guy. So, long story short, I believe that you should have gave Salido what he wanted to get that rematch made. Give him what he wanted. If he was asking for a little more increase in his purse, do it. Just prove to everyone that his win against you was by hook and crook. It was a fluke. Take care of it. All right? Now, given the fact that you didn't fight Salido, the next best thing you could have done, and this I'm talking to Vasyl Lomachenko, is fight an elite fighter in your division. Or better yet, fight a guy who's elite, who's willing to come up in weight, or go down in weight to fight you. Okay? Guillermo Rigondeaux, that's when he comes into play. Now, Guillermo Rigondeaux initially stated that he will only take the fight against Lomachenko if it was at 126. Knowing that Lomachenko's moved up in weight, it's highly doubtful that he can make 126. Because he looks pretty massive up at 130 right now, because he looks like he rehydrates close to almost 140. He comes in at fight nights around 144, roughly around there, 142, 143. So, yeah, I don't see him kind of coming down to 126. However, Rigondeaux said, you know what? Him and his team reached out to Lomachenko's team. It's like, you know what? If you want to make the fight, let's do it. I'll come up to 2 weight classes and fight you at 130. Let's make it happen. Send an offer, and we'll get it going. So Lomachenko's team, their bluff was called out. They come out and say, you know what? Oh, Klimas, speaking on behalf of his client, Lomachenko, Igor Klimas comes out and says, you know what? I don't make the fight. I'm not the promoter. I'm only this and that. So you're gonna have to talk to Bob Arum to see if we can get the fight done. What? Wait, hold up, hold on. You're the same guy who's been going out there claiming, ridiculing other champions for not fighting your champion in the 130 division, saying that nobody wants to fight him, whatnot. But then when you have a guy who's rated one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, who fights 2 weight classes below your champion, he's willing to come up to 130 to fight your champion at his best in his prime, and you still are deflecting, you're dismissive, and you're rejecting him. Okay? Now, with that said, it's a duck on Lomachenko on his part. End of story. You can spin it and you can dice it however much as you want to. This goes out to the Lomachenko fanatics. Okay, you're the same crowd that blatantly came after Deontay Wilder for refusing to fight Luis Ortiz on a 2-week notice, or a few weeks notice, when Luis Ortiz had called out Wilder for a fight after his scheduled bout with Andrew Warzik was called off due to the fact that Warzik failed the drug test. Okay, so you got to apply the same standards to your fighter Lomachenko, because he's ducking. End of story. I don't want to hear this crap about, well, Rigondeaux deserved to fight because he had a chance to fight Lomachenko. Yeah, we already know that story, okay? Yes, Rigondeaux rejected the first offer when it was presented to him because he didn't like some of the terms. Yes, I get that. I came after Rigondeaux for that. Yes, but that is the past. We're talking about now. Lomachenko had an opportunity to take this fight. It was not on a 2-week notice. It was not on a few weeks notice whatsoever. It was 3 months down the road, but he didn't do it. But I can see why Lomachenko and his team has refused to take up on Rigondeaux's offer. And I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think the reason they're doing this is because, one, they're one of the main attractions on, obviously Lomachenko is one of the 2 main attractions for Top Rank, along with Terrence Crawford, his stablemate. Or, one of the 3 main attractions, along with Manny Pacquiao, since they're all going to be headlining on the ESPN platform starting tomorrow, with Manny Pacquiao fighting Jeff Horner, actually, which is a great thing in my opinion. Even though I've been vocal against that fight, especially when the title's on the line, I feel that offering it on free-to-air network, or a premium network, which is close to free-to-air to some degree, is a great idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. It's not on a pay-per-view. I'm glad that's a great move by Bob Arum. I got to commend him for that. Okay, but back to the story at hand. I think the reason why Lomachenko's management and Top Rank don't want the Rigondeaux fight right now is because, one, either they're waiting for him to slow down, which we didn't see any sign of slowdown against his Rigondeaux's last fight against Mosi Flores, even though it lasted in 1 round, which resulted to no contest. Rigondeaux's still sharp. He's still very elusive. He still has the hand speed. So yeah, either they're waiting for him to slow down, or Bob Arum doesn't want to take the risk of putting his one of his biggest cash cows against a guy like Rigondeaux in a situation where Rigondeaux is going to humiliate humiliate him. So it goes back to 4 years ago when Rigondeaux fought Nonito Donaire, who was pretty much on top of the world. He was a top 5 fighter, pound for pound. He was a multi-belt champion, a unified champion in different weight classes, a lineal champion. So when Rigondeaux gave him a schooling and embarrassed Donaire, humiliated him, and broke his eye socket in the process, Donaire hasn't been the same fighter ever since. He's been shot. So my theory is, and this is my opinion, I think that's the reason why Arum and Klimas don't want that fight, because I don't think they're too confident that Lomachenko can win this fight, given the fact of what Rigondeaux was able to do to Donaire. So they don't want to take that risk right now, because it's a very dangerous risk, given the fact that Lomachenko is headlining this headlining on a new network platform. And despite this, though, Lomachenko fighting Mariaga is not going to elevate his status as one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. Okay, yes, he's up there. He's in the top 10. Okay, but A pound for pound fighter should not be behaving this way. Okay, now imagine if Andre Ward did this, right? Or Andre Ward is giving a guy a title shot that's coming off the loss. Man, everybody will rip him to shreds, including me. All right, and I'm a big Andre Ward fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an Andre Ward fan, but if he was doing something like this, giving a guy a title shot coming off a loss, I would have came after him. And you guys, who are Lomachenko supporters, would do the same thing. Let's not get it twisted. All right. So, again, I just want some consistency from you guys, man. I need you guys to come out and say, you know what? I like Lomachenko. If you have any ounce of integrity, just say, you know what? We're big Lomachenko supporters, but this fight right here is very disappointing. I don't like it at all. Okay? You had a guy, again, I have to repeat myself. You have a guy who's 2 weight classes below him, who's a very small guy, who's challenging you, who's willing to come up to fight you at your best weight, and you turn him down. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, that's all I need to be said about this. So, yeah, let me know what your thoughts about this. Do you have any opinions that differs from mine? Be my guest. That's cool. I welcome your opinion, but be respectful about it. Anyways, I'm out.